Hello, this is Kirill from forexboat.com and welcome back to the course on setting up your virtual private server for reliable Forex trading. In the previous tutorial, we talked about how to set up our VPS to auto-launch all of our trading terminals upon startup, and today we're going to perform the final step of this virtual private server setup process by deploying the trading server connection watchdog on our MetaTrader 4 platforms. So let's get straight into it. I have my VPS window over here. I'm just going to expand that, and now I'm on my VPS. First thing we need to do is go to the ForexBoat website where the VPS setup tools are, and you need to go to the address www.forexboat.com/VPS setup, all one word. So if you go to this address, you'll be presented with this page. Just wanted to mention that first thing that you should do probably when you get a VPS is install a browser like Chrome or Firefox, because Explorer will be giving you quite a lot of security notifications, which are very complicated to switch off sometimes. So just install Firefox or Chrome, and you won't have any trouble accessing websites and downloading files. So on this page, we're going to scroll down to the bottom because we've already done the bulk of the setup, and we have only the watchdog tool to left to set up. So here we can see the watchdog tool, and basically the instructions are given here. There's two ways you can go about deploying this watchdog tool on your MetaTrader 4 terminal, or should I say getting it into your MetaTrader 4 terminal. You can either create an expert advisor and then just copy this code, but today we will instead download the file, and I'll just show you how that's done, because I think it might be simpler than copying this code, which is quite long. So if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see a link, download prepared file. So once you download that, which you can see I've already done here, watchdog.zip, you'll get a zip file, and then when you open that zip file, and you will be able to open it because all virtual private servers which are running Windows have WinZip installed in them. You'll see this file, the watchdog file here. So just go ahead and unzip it. You can do that simply by just dragging the file from the zip archive onto your desktop. There it is, and now we don't need this archive anymore. So now we need to add this file into our MetaTrader 4 terminals, and the watchdog is an expert advisor, so we need to go to I'm just illustrating this on one terminal for now, and we're going to go to File, Open Data folder, which we already know because we've set it up as a portable MetaTrader 4. We know it's going to be the same as our installation folder. Now we're going to MQL4, and if we go into experts, we need to copy the watchdog here. So just press Control and drag it into your experts folder. Now you can close that, and we need to restart the terminal to see the expert advisor in our list of robots. So now if we open the expert advisor tab, you'll see the watchdog here. So before we launch it, I want to explain a little bit what the watchdog does. So as you can see here on the left, the prices are always constantly changing, and sometimes they freeze because there's no new prices for that particular currency pair, but most of the time the prices are changing quite a bit. So what the watchdog does is it actually monitors a certain or a given chart and checks if there has been a change in price, and you can specify a parameter to the watchdog, which is the number of minutes, and if in that number of minutes there has not been a change in price, then the watchdog will assume that the connection to the server has been lost, and it will attempt to reconnect or re-log in into the server, or your platform into the server. That is a very convenient way of checking for a connection, because if there has been no abruption to the connection, then all that will happen is that your watchdog will re-log in you into your own trading account, and that doesn't have any negative effects on your expert advisors. But if there has been a disconnect, then the watchdog will actually save your expert advisors, because it will allow them to continue trading by relogging into your account. So in order to deploy the watchdog, we need to open a chart. I usually choose the euro-dollar chart, but you can choose any 1 minute time frame chart. It has to be a 1 minute time frame chart, and preferably one where you can there's quite a lot of movement, so one that doesn't stay still for longer than 5 minutes on average. I choose the euro-dollar M1 chart, and I recommend that you use that one as well. So we're going to deploy the watchdog here, but before we do that, there's a bit of preparation that we have to perform in our terminal. So I'll just move this navigator here. First thing that we have to do is add our account to the favorites. The watchdog can only look at this favorites window here and can only pick an account from these favorites. So we have to add our account to the favorites, and we're going to do that. Right click on your account and click add to favorites. So now we know that the watchdog will be logging into this account. Next, we have to go to tools, options, and you have to open the expert advisors tab. And here you have to make sure that the following are unchecked and checked. So allow automated trading has to be checked. Disable automated trading when the account has been changed. No, we don't want that to happen. That will be devastating for the watchdog because he actually logs into your own account. And if this is checked, then all expert advisors will be disabled, and there's no point in that at all. So you have to uncheck that box. Disable automated trading when the profile has been changed. Also uncheck that box, and make sure you check the allow DLL imports box, because the watchdog is a sophisticated algorithm which uses advanced programming, so you'll have to have access to native Windows DLLs, so therefore you have to allow DLL imports. So we're going to click OK there. And now we're all ready and set to deploy the watchdog. All you have to do is drag it onto its own euro-dollar M1 chart, and I prefer to put that chart at the very start of my list of charts. So if I have, say, 5 other expert advisors running, they'll be to the right, but I will always know that the very first chart is for the watchdog. So I drag the watchdog here, and in the settings window, just make sure that in the common this is ticked. It will be ticked automatically if you've perform the setup of your terminal correctly, but just make sure that that is the case. And here account row should be 1, and that's the row of the favorites that you want to log into, and we only have 1 entry there. And delay minutes should be 5. That's the number of minutes that you kind of allow the terminal to continue working without the price having to change. If the price doesn't change for longer than 5 minutes, then the watchdog will activate itself and relog into your account. I find that 2 minutes is a bit not enough, because sometimes, especially during night time, currency pairs can stay without movement for 2 minutes, but 5 minutes, it's very rare to see a currency not move for 5 minutes or longer. So we're going to set that to 5 minutes. We're going to click OK. And what you see now, did you see that window? Well, that was the watchdog logging in for the first time. That's kind of a test that it runs. It just to make sure that everything's working. If you go to the journal, you'll see a login. This time, 10:05 is my local time. As you can see here, it's 10:05 a.m. And at 10:05 a.m. there was a login. That means that the watchdog logged into our account. And if you go to the experts tab, you can also see here the watchdog. The chart has not been updated in 5 minutes, initiating reconnection procedure. That is obviously not correct, but that is the message he will give you if there has not been a update to the chart. So once that's all done, you're nearly finished. All you have to do now is restart the terminal so that all these settings are saved, and that it's all secure in your terminal. So I'm just going to close that and restart my favorite broker's terminal. And as we can see, the watchdog is running. Once again, there's that window. The watchdog automatically logged in, and now it's all safe and sound. So whatever happens, we have this simple system version 5.0 expert advisor running here, and if there's a disruption to the connection, then the watchdog will automatically re-log into my account and get everything back on track. So I'm just going to open the other 2 terminals. I've already performed these steps in there. I just wanted to show you how it generally looks You see the watchdog logs into my first account terminal, and now it's going to log into this one as well. There you go. That's because I have a watchdog here running, then I have a watchdog running here as well, and that's all good. And that's how a properly set up VPS should look. You should have terminals. In each of them there should be a watchdog as the first tab, then as many expert advisors as you want, and all the other settings that we performed along the way, including auto restart, auto reboot, auto login, auto launch of terminals, and so on. So I want to congratulate you, because you've come this way, you've come so far, and finally we've completed the setup of our virtual private server. It's much safer now, it's much more secure, and there is a much lesser risk of something happening on your server right now. And what we're going to do in the next tutorial, we're going to have some fun. In the next tutorial, we're actually going to simulate a disaster happening on our virtual private server. So we're not just going to restart it as we did in the previous test. We're actually going to pretend that something happened, and you'll see how it's done, and we will check the response of virtual private server. We'll find out whether it will auto login into Windows when it's finished rebooting. We will find out whether it will record the reboot, and we'll find out if the terminals will be launched. We'll find out if the watchdog is working, if the expert advisors are working. So it'll be a really fun and comprehensive test of this VPS setup. And until then, happy trading.